Hi guys, welcome to Colab here. Welcome to our full Java course. For today's tutorial, we are going to build or change color app, just like what we have on the screen here. The purpose of this tutorial is to give you some overview of our project in this course. Some of the project we have for you, we will be doing the same thing using our GUI, graphic user interface applications. We will be building some of those things. And another thing is that we are still in the context of our elementary programming in this course. So if you're just beginning this course with us, you might want to subscribe to our channel and click down the notifications button to get notified whenever we post new video. Thank you and welcome. Let's get started with our tutorials today. So the first thing we will do is to close this guy first. So let's close this one and we open our new class, right? So we come here to source file and we come to Java. We say let's give the name, say change color app. Color app, here we go. Okay, thank you. Now that we have created our empty class, the first thing we want to do before writing our code is to include all of our libraries, because we need some external functions for the graphic user interface and for the button wherein we will change from one color to another. So we need those external libraries for those functions. So let's include all of our library first. We say import and we say java.awt and we say let's say color. Okay, this one will be for our theme color. So the next thing we want to do is we say import and java.awt and we say event, or let's say event.action event. Import again java.awt, we say event and we say action listener. That's good. And we say import java. For the layout we say java.awt.flow layout. Okay, here we go. Our last library is for the theme itself, which is java import let's say import java.awt and we say import java, we say swing. Very good. Here we go. So star and semicolon. Okay. Alright. These are the basic libraries we need for this tutorial, and we have introduced some of these libraries in our previous tutorial. Precisely the java.swing is for JPenny applications. So once you are dealing with graphic user interface for Java applications, in most cases we deal with this library. So but as time goes back, you get to understand some of the things we're using within this tutorial and some of the tutorial in this course. All right, the next thing we want to do is we say we made this class or external class because we include some libraries, so we need some external functions. So let's say extend and we say jtheme, implement and we say action listener. Here we go. We have a bit error, but don't worry, we will fix it very soon. The next thing we do is to declare our variables for our all of the button we will use. We need to declare them. So we say private and we say there are ways in which we have been doing our declarations. We use string, we use integer, double, we use float, and most of the data type we use them. But because we are dealing with a graphic user interface GUI, so we need to define it in that path. So we cannot define it like string, double, and other data type, but we will say J button, and we say let's say J button, and we say blue. Let's say red first, and we say blue. You can use any one of them, it's not bad. Okay, these are the two buttons we need. We have passed it already. The next thing we want to do is let's say public here, and we call our external class. So let's say change app. change color app. Very good. Here we go. All right, now we still have the same error. So just to get rid of the error, the first thing we will do is to write our public static void main method, which is the entry to our Java program, right? So we come here and we say public static, and we say void main string, we say args. Here we go. All right, now that we have our public static void main method, before writing our code we will get rid of this error. So let's take one of these close break from here, and we don't have the error anymore. Thank you. All right, so let me go over the code so you can see from the beginning. All right, here we go. So we have our libraries, our various libraries we need, and we have our class, our external class. So at the end here we have action listener, right, and open bracket, and we got our close bracket, right? All right, now since we have already called our class here, the next thing that we want to do is, since we have our class, our public class already, let's define some data. So let's say button, various button. Good. So we have like two kinds of button, right? The red button and that of the blue button. So here we say red equal new J button, and we say red. Very good. We say red dot let's say red dot add action listener. Yep. And we say this, we say add, and we say red. Okay, now we have created our red button, right? The next thing we want to do is to create our blue button. So let's deal with the blue button. So we say blue, just like the same thing we did for the red is the same thing we are applying. So you can copy and paste, but for this tutorial we can just write the code. There is not much code for this tutorial. So we say blue equal new, and we say J button, right? After that, what next? We say blue. So here you see me using a string, like I put double quote and I write name, like the blue name, the blue button name. So actually that is like a string data type. So you can change this. It's actually the name of the button I'm giving. You can change it to the name that you want. Is fine. So I say red again. I say dot action. Add action listener. So I say this. Okay, and I say add blue. Here we go. All right, let me scroll over here a little bit so you can see it. All right, let me reduce the content of it, the size. All right, so here we go. We created our we imported all of our libraries, and here is our class, our external class. Then we call our class public, and then we also created our various buttons. So there are two kinds of button we need in this tutorial, but if you want to add some other button, you can add it for other functions. That's fine. Okay, here we go. The next thing we want to do now is to say set the layout. Set layout, because the first thing we did was we created our button, right? So within the button we need some, like the button need to be on a page, right? So this is the page now we are coming to set up, which is the layout. So the first thing I want to do is I say set layout, and let me say new flow layout. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm calling this library. I'm calling this library for the layout of the diagram, the screen, the color, everything. So it's what I'm doing here. Basically, I'm calling this layout. Good. And the next thing I want to do is I say set, and I say default operations close, right? And let's say set default operation jframe dot close on. So this is for when you come here to click this for the the page to close. So it's actually for the close, exit on, right? Exit on, close. So that is the functions for it. It says set default close operation jtheme.exit on. All right, here we go. The next thing now we want to do is we say set visible true. So here, if you set the visibility to false, that means whenever you run the program, you don't want to see the color or you don't want to see the screen, right? So whenever you set it to true, there may be some result that you want to see, right? So we set the visibility to true. Okay, before the visibility, the next thing we want to do is the name of our apps. So let's say set title, right? We say set title and we give the name of our app, right? So let's say change color and we say app, right? So this is the name of our app. The next thing now we want to do is we come down and we say set the size of our app. So which size of this app you want? There are two ways to name the size or make the app size. First, we deal with the width and the height. So if you want the width to be very longer than the height, or if you want the height to be longer than the width, you can also fix it. So here we say 400 for the width and we say 200 for the height. So let's say, you see, this is the width. The width is the first and the height is the second, right? So you see here we got the width and here we got the height. Okay, now the next thing we want to do now is let's say set locations. Set locations. This function is purposely for whenever we run the app, like the display should come on the right, let's say when we run the apps now, we should see the display in the center of the screen, right? But at most cases when we run the app, we usually get the display this way, right? So sometimes it's like you don't want to drag it every time and bring it in the center. There are two ways you can do. The first way I will show you, then after a little while again I will show you the next way. Okay, so you see the differences. All right, so let's set the first locations. We say 300 and we say what? 100. Very good. 300 and 100. So that is the x and the y, right? The x and the y of the screen of my computer screen, the x and the y I say. Okay, the next thing now I want to do is I say get and we say content pane dot set background color dot yellow. So this is the default background color, right? Just like when I run the program before, like the color that we saw on the theme was yellow. So that is the default, except otherwise you want to change the default color, but I just use yellow as the default color, right? Alright, the next thing now we want to do is to deal with our public static void main method. So let's say public let's say entry to our Java. So this is the entry to our Java program, which is the public static void main method. Okay, so let's say we call our class in our public static void main method, right? We say public and let's say new and we say change color app. All right, here we go, semicolon, and we come next line, we say public void and we say action public void action performed, right? And we say action event. Okay, so you should know the difference because here we have action, we got action event and we also have active event. So sometimes like certainly I make mistake often like I use the active event, but it should be action event. Okay, so we say action event E, which is the event, right? Here we go. Now that we have this, the next thing now we want to do is we call the action event functions. So that is whenever we click the button, there should be difference is if we click the red button, we should have a red background, right? It should change from the default color, which is yellow, to red. If we click the blue button, we should also have that functions to be performed for the blue display, right? So we have to make those functions. So we say let's say if that is the conditions, we say e is the event, get source, right? Get source equal red. Let's do for the red first. What happens? So if get source equals red, then there should be some things that should happen, right? So let's say get content penny. So get content pen, like these functions is what we are calling now, these functions. So if get source equals red, these functions should change from default color yellow to red, right? So we say get content pane dot, and we say dot set background color, and we say color dot red, very good. That is the first condition. What's the second condition says? Because we have to do for the blue, right? So let's say if dot get source equals blue, let's say get content dot blue, right? Get content set background color dot blue. So I think you already understand the idea for that I'm applying here for the blue button and that of the red button, right? So you say get content pane, and we say dot set background color. Let's say color dot blue. So you can come and choose which one of the blue you want. There are two kinds of blue. We got the lighter blue and the deeper one, right? Okay, here we go. So this is the end of this code. So we will run our program first before I go over it, okay? So let's run our program and see if we have some errors. So you come here and you click the run. Here we go. It's actually loading now, and a little while it will be done. Very good. So this is what we have, right? We have the red and we have the blue. Let's click the blue. Sorry, the blue is not working, right? So we need to fix. There are some challenges we had, right? So let's fix the challenge. It worked for the red, but it doesn't work for the blue. So there should be some errors. Good. This is the error. I think here should be some other thing. So I have red, and red, right? Okay, blue and blue. And I need to check again. So let's say blue, yes. Okay, let's check here. This guy blue. So you see, this is some of the challenges we have sometimes like the oversight. Okay, so yeah, it should have been blue, but I put red. So instead of me putting blue, red, let's put blue back. So we say blue. Here we go. Okay, we won't have this error anymore. We can check it again, maybe. I'm not pretty sure, but sometimes it happened. Okay, it's loading. Let's give it a little time. Here we go. Okay, we have red, blue, very good. So we have fixed the error now. That was our oversight. Okay, all right, red and blue, red, blue. So we can also expand it. You can see. All right, so basically let's go into the code. If you have some like errors too, you can also fix it. Okay, all right. But another thing is that before we go deeply into the code, when I initially run the program, the display came on the side, right? Why it shouldn't, like, it should come this side? It should have come in the middle of the screen, right? So at times when we want to make the display to come in the middle of the screen, in the way that you don't want to drag every time and bring this on the screen. You don't want every time you run the program, you have to drag the page and bring them on the screen, right? Like in the middle of the screen. You don't want that. So the best thing for you to do is to use locations relative to null, right? It's a function and it will always display the page on the like in the middle of the x and the y axis, right? In the center of the x and the y axis. So instead of us saying set location 300x and 100y, let's take this guy from here. Likewise, we can just comment it, and we come here, we say or set locations relative to what? Null. So this is done for it. You don't need to like drag and bring in the middle again. So like now I will try to run a program. You will see that it will appear directly within the middle of the screen, right? In the middle of your computer screen or your system. Like it will appear in the middle of it. So let's see the result. What happens? Very good. You see the result now. So like before, it usually come this way, right? Like before, it usually come this way, but now it's coming directly in the middle of the screen because you have used these functions that says locations relative to null. So this function is usually used within the JFIM and J option pin or library. It's a library functions. Okay. All right. Now let's try to scroll in the code and see what we have. Let's try to scroll in it. Okay, the first thing I did was I created the class. After I've created the class, I tried to input all of the libraries. So these are the libraries we use within this class. All right, and I also make the libraries to be some standard functions as a help to the main class. So here we got a class and we need the class or change color up, right? And I make the class to be extended because I have some libraries for external functions, right? And then I use JFIM because we are dealing with graphics. So you use JFIM and we say JFIM implement action listener, right? Good. From there I declare the two kinds of button we have. We have the red and we have the blue. I declare them here as a button data type, right? Here I call the public class and I created the red button and that of the blue button. After I have created the red and the blue button, I also come and I set the layout of the string, right? So here is the button name. You can also change the name to something you want. So let's say click red, and let's say click blue. So we have changed the name from being red and blue, but we add some other thing there that says click. So here you can change the name of your button to something you best preferred. Okay, so let's see the result. So after that, I have the name I set the layout of the screen, and I also come here and set default close operation jfim.exit on, so that is whenever I come this way I can close it. Now the screen will appear and I will show you. Very good. So you see the name of the button has changed. The name of the button is changed now, right? So here I can come and close here. So here coming to close this thing is of functions. So these functions that says set default close operations, this function particularly is for this, where I can come and close this guy. Like now I come here and I can close it here. So that function is particularly for it, right? And then we set the title of the app. We set the title of the app. I think you saw it soon. My system is loading. I will try to fix it soon. All right, here we go. So okay, so let's come here. Okay, so we set the title of the app. This is the name of the app. Change color app. So you can also change the name of your app, the title, to something that you best preferred. Okay, then I come and we set the size. The size is 400 and the size is 400 and 200, right? Which is the width. From here to this space is 400 and this one, the height is 200, right? You can also expand it to a bigger size that you want. Let's say I want to expand this to let's say 700, and I want to expand this to 700. Can I say maybe 750 is good? Let's see. So there will not be much differences between the both. Alright, so I'm changing the width and the height again so you can see what I'm talking about. Alright, and we set the default color to yellow. So after that, we have our public class. This is our public class, and we try to call our class, which is change color app. Okay, you see, so now I've changed the size of it. The size now is bigger. So you see the size I've changed. You can also change the size to something that you best prefer. I've changed the size now, you can see. Alright, here we go. So lastly, what I did was, after I've called the public class within the main method of our program, the next thing I did is I called the functions. So whatsoever that happens here is action performed, action event, which is E, right? And I give the conditions. If e.get source equals red, get content pin dot set background red. So if e get source, this default color should change from red to what the color that is on, right? So let's say right now is to blue, right? So click this, the color should change. If you click this one should change. So that is the functions for it, and I also did for blue. So guys, this is all for this tutorial. You can check the code. If you have some mistakes, then you can fix it. This is the code, and I scroll over it. Alright, thank you, and we move to our next Java tutorial in this course. Thank you. Alright, please don't forget to subscribe as we move along. Okay guys.